And Savage's move from 6 allows in Tongan international signing Sione Kalamafoni for a debut start. Andy Hazel, so light here, stays at 7. And England's Ben Morgan is at 8, having come over the border from Stradey, just like his boss. Dan Robson is getting the starting nod at 9, and a fully fit Freddie Burns is back as a starter at 10. This means Billy 12 Trees moves over to 212 to go alongside try scorer at 6 ways last week, Henry Trinder. And James Simpson-Daniel are part of the furniture here. And the flyer, Johnny May, he moves from fullback with Charlie Sharple still out and Shane Monaghan injured against Worcester. This all means that the signing from the Pirates, the very reliable at championship level, Rob Cook, gets a first Premiership start like Kalamafoni. So one of Di Young's men, the London Wasps. And Tim Payne is joined by Zach Taulafu, the Samoan international. T. Rees-Thomas, another Welshman who has made use of the M4 eastbound, is at hooker. Wasps looking much healthier in the injury department this season, and they've got genuine options at lock, and these two are certainly the genuine article. Tom Palmer and captain today, Marco Wenzel. James Haskell's returned from his travels, and he returns to the starting lineup. Joe Launchbury is injured. Jonathan Poff, the Kiwi, and South African signing Ashley Johnson make up the Wasp back row. Joe Simpson looking really sharp at scrum half. He's also looking to build a partnership at half-back with the experienced Stephen Jones, who made such a great start at his new club last week. Andrea Massi has arrived from Italy, and he looks like Mr. Dependable. Elliot Daly should continue to blossom with that kind of influence on his inside. Then we have the lethal weapon pair, Christian Wade and Tom Varndell, and with May and Simpson-Daniel on the field, please let the ball go wide today. And young Tom Bell, no slight either, and he makes his first start for the injured club skipper Hugo Southwell. Southwell had an operation on his hand this week. Mike Tyndall, of course, these days is part of the coaching staff as well with Gloucester. He's also on the sidelines, well, initially at least, because he's on the bench, unlike Southwell. And it's a bench that includes a late change for Gloucester. Corey Britton has come in for the injured Hughia Edmonds, who was injured this morning in a warm-up.
Perfect conditions for Gloucester. They're trying to play up-tempo rugby without quite achieving the required speed of phase ball. When they do get quicker second phase, they're going to be very hard to stop. Wasps, well, they're slightly further on the road to their game plan, as they showed in their demolition of London Irish. They were slightly less ambitious than against Bath the previous week, and with their tighter focus came a much sharper performance, with Varndell and Wade looking dangerous every time they touched the ball.
Well, the teams will come out to a standard Gloucester welcome. Wasps have never been popular here. Back to the Lawrence Delalio days, really. Had some run-ins with the shed, either verbally or with the odd gesticulation. And the London outfit hoping for a much better day here than they had last season, when their Boxing Day cave-in rather ruined Christmas in a season that was probably already ruined by the off-field uncertainty and a list of injuries that would have had an impact on any club, but especially one where resources were so stretched. James Haskell, well, he's come back to the club. Perhaps he will be the one to get the shed going today.
Well, alongside him in the back row, Ashley Johnson. He was a bit part Springbok, but on last week's evidence, he could be a big-time Wasp, especially on these firm grounds where his potent mix of immense strength and soft hands make him a formidable focus for his teammates.
And Wasps scored 11 tries in their opening 3 matches. Jim Hamilton and Gloucester are ready. They have one of each so far, a win, a loss, a draw. But just the one game at home, and that was defeat to Northampton. The King's home crowd keen to get the fortress mentality back. It was lacking at the end of last season. And here they come in the sun, greeted by their faithful supporters. And Freddie Burns held his nerve last week with a kick to earn the draw in Worcester. It's a win that the home crowd want today. they demanded.
In front of him, a Gloucester pack that is loaded with ball carriers. Andy Hazel's ability to compete on the ground, though, and provide the link between forwards and backs is crucial. He's a local hero, rooted in Kingsholm's turf. He's a man also who thrives on the fast grounds.
First, a moment's silence, of course, for Ulster's Nevin Spence, his brother and father.
The whole rugby world was rocked by the news that Nevin, along with his father Noel and brother Graham, died in a tragic accident on the family farm last weekend. Nevin was a centre for Ulster Rugby and represented the Ireland under-20 and Irish Wolfhound side. He also appeared for Ireland in the fixture against the Barbarians on this very ground last May.
Martin Fox is the referee. Graham Hughes, his assistant for the replays. And alongside on the touchline will be Nigel Carrick and Andrew Watson. It's Gloucester versus Wasps, just a point between them after 3 games. Similar ambitions too in this season of re-establishing themselves. And it's Wasps who get us underway. And it was caught by 12 trees in his new colours. New haircut as well. As Trinder, good run from him. Hazel goes through too. And Savage, good start from Gloucester. Robson is dangerous. A little bit like Simpson is for the Wasps. Very quick over the ground is the scrum half. Burns. Vondel tried to get in, it's fallen for May. And it ricochets off Tom Bell. And as a start from the kickoff, the receiving team would take that.
Yeah, very good from Gloucester, that really was. Hazel on hand from the Trindle half break. It's the missed ball. Wasp for a second think it's the kick. It's not. It's the half break and the offload to Hazel, and great support there. And Robson very quick at the heels. Good early threat from Gloucester.
Davidout with a throw. It was a good one. Here's Burns again. And Hazel once more, the open side, finding himself in midfield. And doing well there with his head down. And head down from the Gloucester forwards here in general as they look to just grab those extra meters. They're really good meters as well. Look at the captain, Hamilton, just barging off Simpson there. In goes Robson again to Burns, little stab, he might stretch and score. Referee is right on the spot.
Time off, time off.
And it will be Graham Hughes involved right at the start of the match.
Graham, can you hear me?
Which has really gone Gloucester's way.
Graham,
Burns gets up with the ball.
I'm not quite sure if he actually made the line or not.
Checking the ground.
Thank you.
Okay.
Check the grounding for me.
Now, does he get there? I think Tim Payne may have done a fantastic job. He can't reach, the ball is tucked under his arm, so he's not going to get dislodged in the tackle. Does he get it down there?
Just might have done there. He's allowed to place it straight away. The momentum is taking him towards the line. This is
the great
the
drive.
initial drive from the Gloucester forwards, which was excellent, wasn't it?
Well, it was fantastic. The key, of course, does he get it down? But Hamilton smashing Simpson. Last season, Gloucester so rarely drove through. When they did drive through, Wasps were sucked in. Freddie Burns thinks there's half a gap. He goes for it. That's hard to call. I think Tim Payne's done a great job there.
Foxy, it's Graham.
Yes, Graham.
Yeah, he was held up, yeah, it was short of the line, so it'll be a scrum, 5, attacking ball.
Okay. Scrum. 5, attacking ball.
Gloucester have gone back in the conversion position. But of course, some of that can be down to kidology as well. Burns just short of the line. He only has to clip the line there, but Graham Hughes not seeing enough.
That was absolutely fantastic from the Gloucester forwards. The moment that Hamilton smashed Simpson backwards and provided quick ball was the moment you realise Gloucester have started this game with something they didn't have under Brian Redpath, a hard driving game down the middle that will open up space for Simpson, Daniel and May in the game. Wasps have got to be far better around the fringes. Gloucester straight through.
There's no instruction, getting used to it now in these Premiership games.
Crouch. Touch. Set.
Payne coming down this near side. It was a brilliant intervention defensively from Tim Payne there in his 249th game in Wasps colours. But of course, this is an area game which has caused concern for Wasps. The front row, not necessarily on Payne's side, it must be said. Change made at tight head today with Taulafo coming in for new signing Stabano. Joined from Ironi. Oh, that's a good drive from Gloucester.
Use it!
Really was. But it's broken down when it really shouldn't have done. The forwards had done the hard work. Jones out to Wade. Little chip over the top from the speedster. Might fall for him again. Referee looks over to his assistant and the whistle has gone. It's been knocked forward. But really, what an opportunity wasted there from Gloucester.
Great start from the forwards, a good scrum, but what I like with this drive in play, Wasps want to keep a wide line, and when you've got Simpson, Daniel and May, you want to keep that width. What Gloucester do this time, didn't do last year, is just go straight through the middle. Wasps are going to have to put men there. The guard wasn't right, there's a hole. It's a great offload. Simpson gets smashed by Jim Hamilton, and Burns got within inches of the try line as a result. Brilliant play there, superb stuff from Morgan on the offload and then Hamilton.
And having done the hard work at the scrum, they'll be disappointed, won't they?
Yeah, well, it was the backs let them down. The scrum was very good, as it was. It got them out of jail against Worcester, didn't it, last year with a penalty, last week, with a penalty in the last play to draw the game. That's a strong scrum to start.
Come over here.
T. Rees Thomas for the Cardiff Blues, 27 caps for Wales. Inside Payne and Taulafo, as I say. They've got a try in the Irish game. Taulafo having scored a hat-trick against Irish A.
Crouch.
It's so important here, his role today against Nick Wood in his 150th Premiership match for Gloucester. Talked about Payne's experience. Wood fast gathering a fair amount too. Here's Simpson. Palmer. Jones. Oh, good tackling. 12 trees involved, also big lump Savage. Really does live up to his name. That was Massey. That's what Massey does so well. Gets his side out of a hole there. There's Wenzel. Simpson to Jones, down the blind side. This Elliot Daly. Still only 19, Elliot Daly.
Way, 13.
One of those Wasps who really had to grow up last season, thrown in at the deep end. Referee playing advantage. Messi again. Once more to Jones. There's Van Dell.
Seen a lot of good offloading from both teams early on.
Oh, that's a good line from Ashley Johnson. Approaching 17 stone, the former cheetah. There's Haskell. Mike Palmer with a blue hat on. Palmer joins the ruck.
Some advantage, Black.
Oh. Still advantage here for Wasps with Jones. Oh, there might be an extra man. Poff is realising that and trying to work it. Staying on his feet. The tackle was from Simpson Daniel. Still that arm out, but Wasps want so much more.
Yeah.
And in the end, they have to settle for the penalty. Thought for a second. I'm sure Poff was thinking this as well. There was that extra man on that far side. Johnson thinks about a quick one, but he made his impact earlier with that forceful line.
Well, you've got to say, it was brilliant hands initially from Marco Wenzel, second row and captain, and I thought that he had put Poff into a position where there was a try. Simpson Daniel sucked in, and if Poff puts this ball away now, you can see he give that ball early, but he steps in, coming into shot. Christian Wade, of all people, in open space. Great hands from Wenzel. Poff didn't see what was on outside him, and 3 points will be a result for Gloucester after that attack.
He didn't miss last week, and Stephen Jones continues this 100% record for his new club. 5 penalty goals, 4 conversions a week ago.
Miles, that ability of Johnson to come from so deep, he always offers himself willingly, coming from a long way back, coming with a real head of steam, and that got them over the gain line.
Oh, that's well taken. Brilliantly taken by Trinder from the restart. Oh, and Simpson Daniel and 12 trees were there on hand. The ball didn't go into their hands though. But here come Gloucester again. Another advantage being played.
Went forward. Number 3, offside.
And offside against
Number 3.
Taulafo. Trinder really awake on the restart. And both sides creating chances here.
Great kick from Freddie Burns, isn't it? Lovely weight on that one, and Trinder just plucks that one away from Elliot Daly. Simpson Daniel, there's a split second, but the timing of the pass has to be absolutely perfect. That was a chance, but it wasn't as easy as Poff's was before. It would have been a brilliant pass from Trinder. See the grimace from Simpson Daniel. He knew that if it was just so, that was a 7-pointer.
It was typical of him to be there.
I'll have a look.
If there's the slightest smell of a try, and Simpson Daniel is there. And that's there for Burns. It's 3 apiece. Both sides could have, maybe should have scored tries.
That's great, though, from Trinder. The other moment he goes on the outside, he opens up the space. There's no way Christian Wade's stopping James Simpson Daniel at that moment, but that was not real time, it was slow motion, and that was a tight call because it had to be spot on.
Mentioned that Boxing Day game last year, 39-10. Wasps were blown away. Sense that this one's going to be much closer, and the evidence
Wait.
at the start of the season from both clubs. An entertaining one as well, and thus far it's going to plan. The entertainment stakes. Here's Wade. Dropped by Daly, and right in front of the shed. And 12 threes lets Daly know that he wants to take the quick one. Then he does take it, and Gloucester are off again. And Ben Morgan, he's lost it in contact. Back now with Simpson, who loves it when it breaks up and there's space. He's devastating. So too Van Dell. So lots of players on the field who can take advantage of this fast game.
Nice offload, James Haskell as well there, really good.
Another player who will love playing at pace. There's Bell, little short pass into Daly, catches that one all right, and answers back to the shed in the best way. Simpson, Jones sees the space over the top, who's covering? Well, Robson with the boot.
So what a boot.
And that's a good strike. Wenzel's really only got himself there. It's good chase from May to cut it out, just in case Wenzel thought about it. And a good round of applause for Dan Robson, who hit that very well indeed.
I think it was well read from Calamafoni as well, the Tongan blindside. Powerful man going forward. Wreaked carnage against France in that World Cup match. And he got back very well then. That's a gorgeous strike from Robson, who started well. Dangerous sniping, decent pass, and that was a great strike.
He was man of the match, wasn't he, in that World Cup game?
His dad toured Australia in 1988 with me, Simon, scrum half for Moseley.
Jones round on the loop, doesn't work. Van Dal had a chance to clear, can't. Down on him goes 12 threes. Who's going to win this important ball? It's Davidoff. And Davidoff again once more. Poff with the tackle. Hazel to Burns. Simpson has to watch the bounce. How did it break? Very nicely in the end for Gloucester and Freddie Burns. This will be a pressure line-out.
Well, Wasps should be solid here. You look at their line-out, they've got, I think, probably the best Premiership man in Marco Wenzel at a line-out. Absolutely outstanding. Dean was saying before the game, Tom Palmer, you know, he's a good operator. Haskell's not bad, but Wenzel, he doesn't lose very much. And you look at Gloucester, Hamilton is their out-and-out line-out forward. Gloucester have gone for ball carriers, and they've sacrificed something in the line-out.
Shorten line-out goes to Wenzel, wins another.
Thank you.
He's top of the list. He was top of the tree there to pluck that one down, but the kick only finds Simpson Daniel. Robson, Burns. Here's May, and then 12 trees. He's got Trinder outside, 12 trees. He's a big, strong man. He's over 15 stone. Comes back to Johnny May on the wing this week. But he's one of those players who simply pops up everywhere. Just as Chris Jones of Worcester sided him down. Very important tackle last week. Good hands again between the two halfbacks until Burns tried to shift it into midfield. Took it well from Robson, who cleared the breakdown quickly, and that's what Gloucester have been seeking to do.
Yeah, it was poor from Freddie Burns there. He'll be disappointed with that pass. They are getting quicker ball, though, and they're also playing deep in Wasp territory.
Crossfield kick from Burns, looking for May. Van Dal, good catch. Please, up goes the arm. I've called for the mark.
Wait, 12.
And Van Dal, who's got 4 tries for the season. He's got most lineouts for the season thus far.
And that's before kick-off today, so that's notched up a bit. The key thing for Gloucester is that they make sure that when Wasps are winning line-out, they're winning them in their own 22, because they've developed their driving game extremely well, and that sucks defenders in an open space for Simpson. But if Gloucester can keep them pinned into their own 22, and Wasps are playing a defensive line-out, that's a prime weapon gone.
And through the hands of Captain Hamilton. There's Poff. Putting some ice on his elbow in training this week, but it was just a precaution. It's a tough nut is Jonathan Poff. Penalty given by Martin Fox.
Stayed on it.
And Gloucester have been getting quicker ball, as Nigel Davis wanted them to. That time they were slowing down Wasp ball illegally. Penalty.
It's interesting. Little confab then are talking about going for goal from 55 metres. Stephen Jones, wise head, says that's not going to happen. And a solid kick. Good position now for Wasps. This is where Wasps have been so dangerous. Last week against London Irish, they ruled the roost. The catch and drive game was superb. You can see 90% efficiency so far. But what those stats don't tell you is the dynamism of the drive. And Simpson has been benefited. He's been going off the back, sometimes while the drive is still going, and on the back foot, Simpson is simply unstoppable.
Lovely palm down from Palmer, and then it's Johnson again. Big meters those from the big man. Simpson checks, and Jones has come this way. Massey steps and swerves too. Hazel again has got himself in there and a cross on the wrong side. Such an irritant to the opposition, Andy Hazel, and that's why they love him here so much. Talafo. Some collisions at the contact now, and Gloucester won that one. They were firm in those challenges, and they got their reward.
That time was not able to offload the ball. Ashley Johnson certainly has been trying to keep that ball moving. And when attack can offload and they can move from the point of attack quickly, then it makes it so much harder for defence. That time it went to ground, and Gloucester were able to manipulate the penalty. Lovely touch on that line-out ball, and look how quickly they've got Ashley Johnson over the game line. It was a decent tackle from Ben Morgan there.
When you take into account the defeats at the end of last season for both of these clubs, it's not that reservoir of confidence, although there'll be many changes on both sides, certainly in the Wasps ranks.
But Gloucester do need to start winning this ground. 4 straight defeats here, first time since '95. The drawbridge has been down too long. This should be what Gloucester base their success on.
It's 1995, the last year that they lost 5 in a row on this ground. Here's 12 trees.
Back here.
And the referee's coming back.
Number 8 on the side.
It's gone against Johnson. So both Wasps were getting a little bit excited there in midfield. And again, their tackling was good, wasn't it? And that was further evidence of it. The referee was playing advantage, and Jim Hamilton wants his man to go for the post. Of course, he's got options, not just Freddie Burns, but Billy 12 Trees too, and Rob Cook, a very good kicker with the Cornish Pirates in the Championship.
I just think there's another half chance there. Andy Hazel signified Christian Wade had come in, but the key man to look at is Johnny May, who's coming around here, and James Simpson-Daniel, who is also there. There's a lot of space there, and Wade has been sucked in. Hazel, like Poff, the other open side, steps into the tackle as opposed to into space with a pass. May had come right to left. He glided into space. Him and Simpson-Daniel against Wade, that was a chance.
Burns himself can strike from distance, we know that. Nigel Davis very keen to build this man's confidence as a kicker, as a general out there. Certainly with the kicking, he doesn't lack the confidence in other aspects of his play. Freddie Burns, he hasn't got the distance here. He's 89% in his early matches before today. He's missed that one. It is worth bearing in mind, though, the distance that 12 Trees can get, and also Cook's reliable boot.
Definitely out of Cook's range as well, but 12 Trees is an option from that distance. Clearly that was well beyond Freddie Burns' range.
Taken by Calamafoni. They call him the K-train.
Straight off your feet.
That's just perfect for the kicker, isn't it, to get another chance if he is the selection. Burns, of course, not quite having it on the angle, but it's a bit more central. He thinks he can get it this time.
Long way out still. Must say I was impressed with Marco Wenzel's chase there. Calamafoni tackled Wenzel. He's winning lineouts, offloading. Great initial tackle, straight off the feet there. No doubt at all, that is a penalty there. Payne penalised.
Coming in off kick-offs from the ARs, okay, thank you.
Now I must say, on the balance of the last kick, this is right on the edge of Burns' range. In fact, on the balance of the last kick, it's beyond it. He was a long way short from the last kick. It was a little bit further out, but a long way short.
Again, it shows his confidence. He wanted it. And he knew he hadn't hit it well. He knew he had more to give.
Great strike. Really good strike. Confident young man. Misses from a long way out. A couple of minutes later, he's almost as far out. Now, I'll take that one. Super kick from Burns.
As he fluffed the last one, not that one.
Super kick off from Stephen Jones.
There's Simpson. Johnson again. Van Dijk. Wearing 14, but operating so far as the left winger with Wade on the right. It's Tim Payne. It was Tim Payne. Wenzel.
No!
There's no Southwell, but Wenzel used to the leadership role at this club. It's Glos to steal it. And it's Daviduk.
What was Simpson doing with that little stab football pass there?
Well, again, it was the awareness of Trinder. Saw it from the restart, we saw it there. It's fully switched on. Simpson wasn't.
He was a long way from being switched on.
Burns. Trying to turn Van Dijk, but this will be Bell's. Young Tom Bell, brother of Chris, who's also at the Wasps.
12, stay there, stay there! Okay.
Cork on the counter. Calamafoni has been coming on with Akapusi and Guerra as a replacement on about the hour mark. Imagine those two coming on at that stage of the game. Well, he's got the start today. That's good hands from Savage to Simpson Daniel. Oh, he's round with his man. This is James Simpson Daniel. It is classic. James Simpson Daniel. That was really special. Movement, the ideas, the speed, the score to excite again from that man at Kingsholm.
He may have flaws to his game, but he's probably England's only bona fide attacking genius in the last decade, since Robinson. This is something special. Slashes in. Simpson can't hold his pace. 2 Wasps left for dead. Brilliant from James Simpson Daniel. We've seen it so often at Kingsholm. James Simpson Daniel just leaves the scrum half for dead. Oh, brilliant. And Joe Simpson is very quick, but he just couldn't hold the afterburners. It was that inside first line that was the moment.
And the conversion from Freddie Burns. And it's 13-3. Always felt he got the wrong nickname. Sin Good would be more appropriate.
It makes things happen from nothing. Now that's the moment Joe Simpson gets beat. Rhys Thomas, the Cardiff hooker, hasn't got a hope in hell against him, and wonderful moment at Kingsholm. Vintage Sinbad, or Singood.
And that was really, really good. Top draw stuff from JSD.
3 away!
And another excellent kick from Steve Jones, another really good chase from Marco Wenzel. And this time, Gloucester handle the kick-off rather better than they did the first couple of occasions. Got to remember as well, the try, it goes all the way back to a very probing kick from this man, Freddie Burns. And Bell, he beat May, but then he sliced his kick. And from that slice kick, Gloucester opened them up right to left. Broken field on a firm day. You do not give Gloucester's backs space.
Marco, move them to the tackle, please. You must move them.
Daviduk, 3 years at the club now. And from Truro, Robson. Here's 12 trees.
Strong.
It's come from the Tigers.
7 roll! No, leave it 4. Your own man's got the ball.
Hamilton, good carry, good offload too. Calamafoni and Johnson. Johnson realising he had to do something. Oh, and that's a good line from Cork as that drifted forward, it has. On to that man Simpson Daniel again.
Well, it's all happening on the left flank, but you know, I think what's going on down the middle is more significant. Forward pass here from Cook, but 12 trees, straight as a die, gets over the gain line initially, and not for the first time. Jim Hamilton, second row, is right alongside him, smashing through, and that is giving them a little bit more space. We said in the first minute, if Gloucester can keep driving through the middle, it will make space for their wide men. And that's what's happening, and the offloading game is brilliant. Big Jim Hamilton's added so much to his game.
Yeah. 2's in red.
Also added the captaincy to his name now. Missed round one, he rolled an ankle in training in that first week. He's going to be a very important figure for Gloucester this season, not just because of his captaincy. As Stewart says, his all-round game, that's one goes against his side. Though free kick at the scrum to the Wasps.
Yeah, can do. 9.
They need the relief, Wasp. They've been pounded a bit for the last 10 minutes or so, and Hamilton and his carrying forwards have played the role. They've been attendants to James Simpson Daniels Hamlet, but they are doing a very significant job. Oh dear.
That's a bell kick, and his opposite number, Cook, says thanks very much. Massey underneath it, and did well. Good recovery from Burns, and a lovely pass as well to Calamafoni. He's coming more and more into it.
Always trying to get the ball away, aren't they, Gloucester?
And if Calamafoni comes into it, Gloucester are starting to impose themselves all over the park. And there's May onto Cook and Simpson Daniel. It'll show no risk of the forward pass this time. The forward drive, the momentum is still there. Davidu, caught by Wood. Sets it back. Haskell was offside but cleared out the way. Then it's Burns behind or just away from 12 trees, who recovers well, didn't go forward.
Just lost momentum and a couple of slightly inaccurate passes from Burns.
Yes, they had it down the left-hand side, that momentum, not in the middle. Still a chance to go again here. And through the middle with Calamafoni. Now has Simpson got underneath him or not? Calamafoni spotted that Wasps were asleep.
Time off. Graham, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you, Martin.
So try yes or no, Graham, thank you.
Okay, I'll look.
Well, we said in the first minute when Hamilton went through, Wasps have got to tighten up their defence. It's not just the guard, it's the gut of their defence. There's just nothing there. Now, Simpson does brilliantly at the end, but Calamafoni has just marched through. Well, it does get down. I'd love to see it in real time. I'd love to see it in real time, but that looks like a try, doesn't it? Great effort from Simpson.
Foxy, it's Graham. Yep, you may award the try.
Straight away, Calamafoni adjudged to have control of that ball. Simpson is brilliant at that. Time and time again we'd see him succeed, but not on that occasion. Just enough power from the Tongan. And a sharpness of thought too. Look at that. Have a look in front. Elliot Daly, oh, where's he gone? He can't do anything about it. Simpson might. But Calamafoni wins.
Wasps defensive guard all over the place. They haven't switched on that, and Gloucester are just murdering them through that part of the field. They're absolutely tearing them to pieces. You can look at this a little bit wider now. Elliot Daly gets out of the ruck, doesn't know where he is. He takes a guard wide. Wenzel, who's been brilliant, he's too wide. And look at the hole there. There is nobody there. Simpson's in no man's line. Bang! The Tongan just accelerates through, and it's a fine effort from Joe Simpson. But there's only one winner there, and Gloucester's pack through the heart of Wasps, and they are hurting them. 20 points to 3.
This might fall for Varndell. 2 tries to 0. Simpson Daniel, now Calamafoni. Here's Haskell to Stephen Jones. Elliot Daly. Oh, that's great footwork from Elliot Daly. Daly for the corner. And he now has his slice of brilliance in this quick game.
That was fantastic footwork from Daly. Stopped his man, changed his pace, and absolutely nothing Gloucester can do. I think it's Henry Trinder there has been pretty good in attack. It comes though from another very fine Stephen Jones kickoff. Gloucester don't handle it, and they have leaked 5 points at least immediately. Haskell, that's a bit showboaty, but this is nothing showboat. Trinder stopped and then burnt on the outside. It's not about raw pace, it's about change of pace. And then there's the glide outside the man. Watch this now. He'll stop him there and go. That is high class. It's a bit like
Christian
Waite's try against
Twickenham.
Harlequins. Exactly.
Just about to say.
In, stop and out. Gorgeous.
And when you've got more than one who can do it, and that is a superb conversion from Stephen Jones. Dai Young can breathe again. It was all going so badly wrong just seconds ago, but his side had got right back into the game.
This is poetry. Stop, out, and watch the glide now as Freddie Burns comes across. You won't see a better individual try. That's better than James Simpson's Daniel. Technically, that was almost perfect.
There's Massey. Still a 10-point gap, but the way the game is moving, that might not last very long.
No, it's a game on this surface as well, and these days, Miles, points can come very quickly. Both defences are being stretched by the ambition and the attempt to play at pace, and you sense there are more tries here.
Jones. Daly kicks, takes a deflection. That's a good pickup. They Cook. Robson.
Great kick from young Dan Robson. That's really mature.
And turning Daly right around.
Just
A minute ago he was scoring a try. Now, along with Bell, having to consider the options defensively.
Yeah, feel for the game. That's gorgeous. Henry Trinder absolutely left for dead. Burns done on the outside. High class, but I really like what Robson did there. The game was going 100 miles an hour. Wasps just struck back. They got the wind in their sails. Robson drops back to fly half, takes the pace out of the game, claims 30 metres change. That was smart game management.
Well, Robson's played 10 before, and it showed there. A little bit French, Robson, in that he's a 9 or a 10, but obviously settling on the 9 as his primary role. Simpson, that's a good hit. That's gone a long way. And Simpson Daniel to Cook. And the fullback going after this himself, but he's got the looming presence of Johnson, but he was driven out wide, and now the flag goes up.
Touch call.
A credit to the fullback there, because when that ball came up, you saw Ashley Johnson coming. You knew there was only one man claiming it, but Rob Kick, who wins the battle because he was strong, he got a good body position, and Gloucester regained the line out and throw.
Must be frustrating for Cook to watch the kicks at goal, having got the last 3 seasons 249, 413 and 367 points for the Pirates. It's good work from Nick Ward. That was a very important little tap back because it was going wrong there for Gloucester. That's offside. I think the player knew.
A little bit pinball
Saying
there.
that he didn't.
A little bit pinball, wasn't it? Hamilton just being put under some pressure. The Wasp line out has got Gloucester Creek in there. Gloucester just scurried that one away. Burns came with a chip. Quite certain which hand it came off. Certainly this is deliberate offside. It's not the first and it won't be the last time Freddie Burns tries that kick now. You can see it comes off a Wasp hand, but really, does he know which way that ball has come? It's pretty hard. He's got Freddie Burns between him and the flight of that ball.
There's much more doubt, having seen the replay, to be fair to Massey.
Yeah.
Live, it looked like he knew what he was doing. Anyway, we've moved on since then. Here's Burns. 12 trees. Burns, where is it? Well, it's with Johnny May now. And Martin Fox comes over here for a penalty.
The move always got a little bit lateral, and Freddie Burns just lost control of it. It went across. He's trying to play quite flat, and if you're playing flat, you fly half. He's got to take that ball and move it. Great timing. Now, striking it well, could have gone for 3 points, but Gloucester go for the line-out, and that's an interesting call because, I don't know, Wasps will think they can try and press Gloucester in this area. If Gloucester do get it, of course, they've got such a myriad of attacking threats.
Aggressive call. Crowds seem to like it, although it wasn't universal approval. They fancied the points, the 3 points as well. Can't have everything. In the end, they've got nothing as Wasps get penalty at the line-out, and a chance for Stephen Jones to clear. And with hindsight,
that's what happens when you've got a second row as your captain. He calls those line-outs, and hindsight tells you that instead of 3 points, it's a bad call.
The call now is to go down to the front line, and Pat Sanderson. Pat.
And you can see here the ambition from Wasps, but they're setting this game up for the second half to go wide. It's a straight slice off the line-out. You can see the centre takes it wide, creating the space there for Johnson. In the second half, expect to see that pass drift across the front of the 8 and use the wingers out wide.
As it wasn't a unanimous or universal roar when the ball was kicked in the corner, was it?
Wingers on!
Interesting to take a straw poll or a vote on that one from the Gloucester fans. Anyway, we'll never know whether Burns would have got it or not, although he seemed to have found his kicking rhythm. Johnny May kicking that one away to Simpson.
Wait,
when you mention those names, again, further emphasis of the speed on show out there. There's Rob Cook.
Wait, 13!
And Charlie Sharple's in the back 3 at the moment. Cook getting his chance. Of course, no Ollie Morgan had a long-term injury for Gloucester. Wish him well in his recovery now. There's a bit of space in behind Barndell, and he's not going to get long because Trinder's coming. Johnson, Hamilton's there. And coming in at the side, Gloucester conceded another penalty when they were building a strong field position.
Discipline.
A lot of inexperienced players in the Wasps back line, and I think Stephen Jones has got to get hold of a few of them. Joe Simpson is persistently kicking the ball too long. Balls are going down Gloucester players' throats, and Gloucester are winning the kicking game, and they'll possibly win a broken field game. Jones just needs to make sure his team tighten up when they're kicking. A lot of space here. Possibly Trinder will feel he could have kicked better than that. He had more room than that. The chase, though, was really good. There's a real hunger and appetite there. They're chasing down their own kicks, and Ashley Johnson, he had Jim Hamilton bearing right down him.
Over the 15.
Lovely line out between Thomas and Wenzel. Here's Johnson again. It's Jones and Massey looking for the handoff. Simpson again caught in possession, and that was 12 trees. Who is brim full of commitment today, and it's back on the Gloucester side. Hamilton just trying to reverse flick, and it didn't quite work. Well, had it worked, I think Wasps was stretched there. Varndella got tight, and there was only really Daly wide.
Jim Hamilton's a different player to last season, you know, and maybe he overplayed that one, but he's trying to offload all the time, and he's so mobile in the bar. I mean, Andy Robinson watching this will be delirious. He's playing so well. 12 trees, just showing that not only when Gloucester are driving through with the ball, but defensively they are dominating the breakdown. Wasps are very loose there. There's Hamilton going for a speculative ball, shall we say, but that's great play from 12 trees, and really doesn't help that Tom Varndell pushes him onto his scrum half. You see that again. Varndell just shoved him straight into Simpson, which was bizarre.
Mike Tyndall would have really enjoyed that. That was typical of Tyndall himself from 12 trees, the man with the short hair. When you arrive at Gloucester, you have a challenge. You have to drink 8 pints of milk in 20 minutes. If you can't hold it down, you get your head shaved. Nice.
Change from my day. Milk.
Two's in red.
I mean, I like a cow. It tastes very well on a plate, but 8 pints of milk. Weird times.
Scrum goes down, and it's a Wasps penalty. Pleased about that.
Well, as we go towards half-time, the penalties that Gloucester have conceded in the Wasps half have given Wasps an outlet, as did the Elliot Daly try. It was a brilliant score to counter 10-15 minutes of superb rugby from Gloucester. Now, Tommy Bell, he looked earlier at this game from 55 metres. He's going for this. If he gets it, I think Wasps will be slightly fortunate to only be 7 points down. I think Gloucester have been very good, but we know Wasps are dangerous.
Oh, we mentioned Cook in the Championship, the signing from the Pirates. Well, Tom Bell went to Leeds on loan, didn't he, from Sale, and couldn't stop scoring points. In fact, he became the Supporters Player of the Year, even though he was on loan at Leeds. And with Elliot Daly in the side as well.
Oh, they've got some range.
Real tremendous range from distance. It was Daly who got that last-minute penalty goal in April against Gloucester. Turned out to be an important win, didn't it? 26-24 that day. And this will be a big boost for Wasps just before half-time. And the flags have gone up in the end. They thought about it, and they've given it, and Bell has done it. It is a big boost. The referee could have checked it, but the touch judges, of course, right on the spot. A look to each other, and they say yes. Crowd watching it on the big screen aren't so convinced.
It's over.
It's over. Good decision. The right decision. And possibly a very important score. Remember, Gloucester turned down that chance for 3 points. Wasps didn't. Fascinating game.
We can't be as loose as we were in the first half.
Thanks, Shane.
Cheers.
Well, they have shown they can be dangerous. Elliot Daly certainly did. There's Freddie Burns, ready to get this second half underway. And immediately, away from the bulk of the forwards, bulk of the players coming this side, Burns.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
And plenty of those moments in this match where players have made the opposition think. There'll be a few mind games to be played in this second half as well. Alex was mentioning there at half-time the run of defeats here at Kingsholm for Gloucester, and also for Wasps. That failure to win away from home since October the 28th last year, and that was a narrow win, a late score if I remember rightly, against Worcester.
Yeah, I mean, it's really two teams who don't have great confidence. They played some very good rugby in the first 3 weeks of the season, but it's about getting the win. The drawbridge has been down for a while at Kingsholm, and they will be nervous.
Here's May. Johnny May. And it's taken away by Wade. One sprinter to another. Massey to Jones. And it's encouraging for the neutral anyway, that start of the second half. Simpson in a spot of bother after Palmer's offload, but Simpson can get himself out of trouble with that quality of pace. And then it was Varndale. They did well to take it, but then they didn't come back.
Now in the first half, Jim Hamilton went for the line out. This time he's learned his lesson. 7 points in it. Wants Freddie Burns to make it 10 points. As Shane Howard said, there are some errors, but there's some scintillating individual skill. Elliot Daly scored a wondrous try, but look at him here, one-on-one against Johnny May, and he's just burnt off there. Interesting what he was saying, you know, about what's just playing out of their structures. I felt against Bath 2 weeks ago. That's exactly what they did. They tried to play too much individually. Last week they got tighter against Irish and scored 40 points plus. They're right in this game still, but they do need to be collective about what they're doing.
One miss today. Burns himself got 25 points on his own against London Irish. That is a gorgeous kick. A kick to match the weather today, that. Nigel Davis has given this responsibility to Freddie Burns, and he's taking it. Look at that.
Got to ask a question. I know Wasps like to play the game in a certain way, but yet again, immediately, minutes after Shane Howarth has said, keep your focus, make it tighter, they've gone very lateral in their own 22, and they have conceded a penalty. And Howarth will think that's a soft 3 points because we didn't need to be there.
Wenzel again getting his hand in there where it matters. And it's a knock-on.
Let's take the first one.
Has to couple the name Marco Wenzel with Stephen Jones as well, though, don't you? Stephen Jones's restarts are excellent. He's given his South African captain every chance. Look at this, where the Gloucester men aren't. Jones is dropping the ball, and Wenzel is getting there unimpeded. Brilliant play from the 104 times capped Welshman and the twice capped. Is it twice capped? South African.
Yeah.
It's one of those great stats, isn't it? 105 caps between the Wasps halfbacks.
Pat Sanderson, front line.
Now this time it's Gloucester off the line out, playing 4 people up to tighten up the Wasp defence. It's no mistake that Johnny May gets that sort of space on the outside with that sort of threat right at the line. And that was just enough to get him on the outside shoulder and potentially create a break for him.
And if they can get May into those holes, then he can be devastating.
Interesting there as well, the Wasp defensive side, Christian Wade held his width that time. He didn't come in, he didn't panic. Much better from Wasp, they still had 2 men wide.
Wasps trying to hold their scrum, and they do that. Johnson got it away. Now it is Daly, and that battle royal between him and Trinder continues. Palmer, second spell at the club.
Okay.
Simpson wasn't there in time, but it's not adjudged to be a knock forward, and it's Johnson again. I swear he almost smiles as he runs forward with the ball. It's not a grimace, it's a smile. He enjoys that. Here's Palmer again. Good hands from Daly. On to Massey. The referee was in the middle of an advantage. Now he's in the middle of the field. And this is one with Stephen Jones not missing a thing in his new colours, that will be aimed at the posts.
I think Nigel Davis and his management will be disappointed how in the first half Gloucester had a propensity to score and then immediately leak points from the kick-off. They did that with a Daly try. It's not long after they've just kicked a beautiful 3-pointer from Freddie Burns. Stephen Jones wins the restart. They can't get their hands on the ball, and Wasps keep the ball until they get a penalty.
Ashley Johnson coming from South Africa. Stephen Jones had that spell in France with Clermont-Auvergne. Now in the English Premiership for the first time, and not putting a foot wrong, literally. 3 from 3 today, 9 from 9 last week. Can't argue with that. And now it's 7 points between the teams.
And Jones is a very important person, a central person in this second half because of his experience, keeping Wasps together, keeping them playing.
So as we were at half-time, penalty apiece since the interval. Daly trying to locate the ball. And that is a knock-on.
Henry Trinder's taken over the Mike Tyndall role. He's a very good chaser of restarts. For donkey's years, Tyndall in the white of England, in the cherry and white of Gloucester, was brilliant at chasing kicks. The first half we saw Trinder take one and almost put Simpson Daniel in. Here he goes up against James Haskell, doesn't control the ball, but he gets the better of the England blindside.
Thought with the Wasps restart there was a hint possibly of offside when Wenzel went forward, and gain there from Gloucester. Officials perhaps will feel the need to take a closer look at that one.
I doubt it. Very flat, Freddie Burns, look at this.
Now this is where Gloucester felt, as the game went on, they could really gain an advantage. Was not happy, could be a crucial penalty. Won by the front row. The cherry and whites.
You clear it really quickly, then I can. But, you know, I can't play that.
Disbelieving. as they always are. Nick Wood delighted, but it doesn't amount to anything unless Freddie Burns turns the penalty into 3 points. You wouldn't bet against it.
Gloucester in the red, Wasps in the black. Those figures. Is Burns in profit here? There he is. And Wasps might be in the months to come, which has settled them off the field, but on the field at the moment, they're unsettled by the boot of Freddie Burns once more.
But they're well in this game, aren't they? They're well in this game. Gloucester have a 10-point lead, and you do sense Gloucester need to keep a little bit of a buffer because of their ability to lose games here at Kingsholm, the start of this season, the end of last season. Brilliant again, look at that.
Yeah, that was good from 12 trees. And the combination of Trinder and 12 trees restarts attacking and defensive. Excellent. Robson to Burns. 12 trees again. He senses the wide, passes the one, and it goes to Cook. A tap tackle from Elliot Daly on the Gloucester fullback. There's Rupert Harden. Anyone went on England's summer tour, got a couple of replacement appearances when Matt Stevens was ruled out before that trip to South Africa. Oh, it's charged down from 12 trees. Palmer was there. Back goes Johnny May. Now, this could be exciting. Could also play right into Wasps' hands. And they made the tackle and they get the penalty, holding on. Johnny May will always look for it.
Number 8 on his feet.
But that time it didn't work out.
Shot.
It's exciting, but that is erroneous, and I don't think the Gloucester management will be very pleased. That was the wrong time to try and do it. And once again, Gloucester get themselves that 10-point lead, and immediately they're just overly ambitious there. Ashley Johnson does very well there. The number 8 is very quick. Second man in after Palmer. He's done excellently. He's on his feet there. And Gloucester really should be thinking, hang on, let's just not run everything from everywhere. That ball should have gone elsewhere, into touch.
So it's gone Burns, Jones, Burns, and Jones again. 26-19. Half an hour to go. And part of the play now, Tom Lindsay comes on to replace T. Rees Thomas at hooker.
Burns for Trinder.
And Trinder goes down that flank, and it's well taken by Wade. And out of the blocks very quickly, Wade. Quite a relay team between these two teams, couldn't you? He's spoilt for choice. Sure who would miss out on the final four.
Use your pace in the right parts of the field, though. That's going to be the motto for the last half hour.
Calamafoni back to Burns. Trying to look for the gap. Robson, well picked up by Wood. And that is a knock-on.
And that is shapeless from Gloucester as well. Shape just has gone from their game at the moment. And as we said, Steve Jones, with all his experience, has got to make sure Wasps keep it. Freddie Burns at 10 with a young 20-year-old at scrum half. He's got to say, let's take responsibility here. It's not about playing rugby for 80 minutes. It's about playing in the right parts.
That's good.
Just trying to play from too deep at the moment. Nothing wrong initially, but then it gets very lateral. Have a look once and then go high, but this is when it gets desperate.
By the way, I've got my relay team. It's May, Varndell, Wade and Simpson. So that's 3 from Wasps. Would you agree? And if so, it certainly shows what Wasps can do with their speed as this game goes on.
Oh yes, but they've got to be in the right part, and they've got to keep the ball. Turnover.
And Burns.
Now it's on.
Well, he decided to kick. He had Hamilton, but also one of those quick men, May, outside. It's not a back kick. That is a very, very good one.
Well, he's decided that they've been playing too much rugby, and there was an option. There were men wide. But he's thinking, who's going to criticise me if I just dink it 60 metres into the corner? And the answer is Freddie, not me. No one in their right senses. That's beautiful. Just beats one man. Got so much time and space. It's a real gift. He's got it.
Lindsay has been working on his consistency of throw. He offers a lot around the park. May. Cook. Here's Simpson Daniel. He's not bad with a baton in his hand either.
No hand
I would have thought very numbered a rugby ball in his hand, as we saw in the first half. Sheer class, that finish. There's Savage. Is he a 6? Is he a 4? Nigel Davis says he's a starter. And he starts again today, along with Hamilton, his captain, who drives on there. Now it's 12 trees. Palmer trying to turn him and wrestle him to the floor. Robson short to Wood. Referee got in the way, has to blow. Wenzel, no chance of making that tackle.
Not impressed, Marco Wenzel there. And nor was Nick Wood, because he thought he peeled off that and was in a nice attacking position. Defenders and attackers both upset with the referee. To be honest, Marco Wenzel is actually going away from the ball.
And he's pulling the referee towards him. That might have been very astute from Marco Wenzel.
It's still a tidy attacking position for Gloucester, though, isn't it? This is a very big blindside. Now, if you go to the right hand of the scrum, Simpson Daniel is standing in the fullback position and Johnny May is on the right wing. Now, Gloucester put a right hand heel on there and they unleashed Ben Morgan at Elliot Daly. Tom Varndell has got the pleasure of James Simpson Daniel and Johnny May.
Crouch! Touch! Set!
The shed waits. They want it to go their way. And Simpson, Daniel and May. Referee will ask the scrum to go again.
Of course, it wouldn't be the worst outcome for Gloucester if the scrum was to eke out another penalty, because 7 points will feel precious little of a lead to Gloucester. And this really is, played some lovely rugby, but they can't come away from this home game without a win.
Tony Window, the former Gloucester player, former Worcester man as well, of course, has been working with the Gloucester scrum on a part-time basis, and he's been working very well indeed. And so the director of rugby at Bromsgrove School, Tony Window, they've been delighted with his input, and they'll be delighted with the efforts there of Davidou, Ward, Harden.
Going well for Tony Window and his scrum at the moment. 47th minute. Gloucester got themselves back to 10 points clear with a penalty from a scrum. 8 minutes later, the scrum gets another one. The front row are collecting points here. If this one goes over, the last 6 belong to this Gloucester scrum.
Like to call them scrum doctors, don't they, or czars. Tony Window doesn't want a fancy name, just wants that from a Gloucester front row, just like the old days. And they're getting plenty of that from Freddie Burns when he kicks at goal. What's making a change? Jonathan Poff is going off, and it's the big youngster, 19-year-old Billy Vunipola, brother of Mako at Saracens, the front row forward.
Well, that changes the way Wasps attack this game. Vunipola is an outstanding carrier and offloader, and there is yet another great kick. But what a take from 12 trees yet again. His ball makes it his.
So Johnson and Vunipola both on. Does Gloucester have Akapusi Ongera to bring on as well?
Brilliant.
Kicking is exactly that from Burns. He's walking tall at the moment. He's enjoying the crowd response. He's feeding off it. He looks every inch. The confident fly half and 12 trees alongside him, enjoying his role in the centre.
Miles, Gloucester just changed their game and Freddie Burns seems responsible. 4 minutes ago, left to right, he put a 60-metre kick in, he's gone 50 metres right to left. He's changed this match, he's made it territorial. It's what Gloucester need. Very mature from the 10.
Simpson didn't box kick, good decision.
Oh, Guerra.
He's on now to tackle. In fact, it's Calamafoni who is still on to tackle Wade.
2 and 2. 2 and 2.
Great tackle by Calamafoni. Clever there from Simpson.
Tim, come on. How many?
He's a strong man, and when he gets his hands on you, he doesn't let go. And Jim Hamilton, he's there to finish off the tackle. He's played well.
Goes to the tail where it finds Morgan. It's 12 trees. Didn't get much space there, did he? The Gloucester midfield man. That was pushing up in defence with venom.
Massey's a very tigerish defender, isn't he? Really good.
Some advantage, Black.
Here's Daly.
Advantage over.
And Jones, again, it's the wide pass. If he can find Wade, and he does. Wade against Simpson. Daniel runs into his man. Simpson, Daniel wasn't going to get out of the way, but Simpson is chasing it for Wasps. Down goes 12 trees again. Arriving is Stephen Jones. Little flick to Massey, can't hold it. Well scrambled Gloucester. They somehow got back there. Simpson Daniel had collided with Wade. That was important. And the referee wants to check something. Let's listen
Graham,
in.
can you hear me?
Yeah, but Foxy.
Yeah, Graham, can you have a look at the contact on Black 9, please? Chasing the ball, please. Thank you.
Okay, Black 9, see whether he was tackled before.
Yes, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
Good officiating here. Was Joe Simpson taken early by Billy 12 trees? No. It's knocked on as well. I think 12 trees holds off. He waits until he touches the ball.
Not so sure. Let's see from this angle. Knows exactly what he's doing. We're certain of that. Simpson is claiming that the interference came before the ball was played.
Yeah,
Might well have a point.
Maybe on that angle. It's so tight, isn't it?
12 trees is trying to make it into all one movement. But it's not, is it?
But can't 12 trees go? Is 12 trees going?
Crowd don't like it because, you know, years gone by, we wouldn't even notice that.
I don't quite know what Billy 12 trees can do. He's going back at pace. He wants to go for that ball. He's not checking him here. I think that's so tight at real pace. It's hard to call. I think there's just too much doubt, Mars.
It is rugby, not basketball. That's the Gloucester fans' view, I'm sure.
Well, I think he's going. If he's going through Simpson to go for the ball, and I just think it's too tight.
Okay, Foxy.
Yes, Graham.
He was actually played before he had the chance to touch the ball. But in my opinion, it was one of those 50-50 that he was going for the ball at the same time as the scrum half. So nothing I'll play on.
Well, that sort of echoes our views,
What
really.
would your recommendation be, Graham?
Nothing. Play on and carry on to whatever you...
Okay, so
Yeah.
so the initial scrum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Scrum.
As I said, you know, that ball was bouncing. Simpson was in front of him, but it was not an attempt to take out the scrum half. It was a legitimate attempt to go for the ball, and it's split second, and I think that's good work there. So is that. That's excellent work. Miel, is that honey? She's not drinking it. That I know.
Tap. Set.
Oh, the Gloucester fans all really like that now. It leads to a full penalty again. It's delivered by the front row, and Dan Robson makes them know exactly how happy he is.
That's a third scrum penalty in 15 minutes. 2 of them have led to penalties. That one is 5 metres from the try line. Equally important, the Gloucester scrum is starting to become extremely influential in this match.
Yes, and Fabio Stabano is about to come on for Wasps. He's stripped off, ball goes out. We go to Pat.
And here you can see how what's happening behind the scrum actually affects what the front rowers are doing. There's a big threat down the blind side from here, from Gloucester. The paranoia in the Wasps front row is we don't want to let them get that side up. You see a huge gap appears between the tight head and the hooker. Nick Wood does not need 2 invitations to take a space that big to split that front row apart and win the penalty, which ultimately led for 3 points to Gloucester.
Next back, Starbano is on. Man who goes off is Taulafo. Great steal, it's Vunipola.
Great steal from Wenzel.
He's involved again, is Wenzel. Can't keep him out of the game. Here's Daly to Wade. And there's another good tackle from 12 Trees. And Johnny May has pulled up lame there. Doesn't look too good. But there's Robson. May out of it, still on the floor. There's 12 Trees who went across again and made a telling challenge on Wade. May is trying to be part of this, but he won't be able to chase. Burns kicks down his wing, but there's no response from May at all.
Out the 10.
From Bell.
Sense that's a moment of cramping, Miles, because he doesn't think that's not a muscle tear. He wouldn't be hobbling if it was.
Now he's moving forward to the 10-metre line, as you say, so there he is already heavily strapped, Johnny May.
Stay up.
I tell you what, he's not going to outsprint Tom Varndale from 60 metres quite yet.
Use it, Red.
And a bit of running off to be done. There's Callum Afoni.
Hands away. Back on side. 3.
Burns show the ball. Got a lot of players to work past, but that's 3 or 4 that he's beaten, and then he goes through the gap. Good work from Freddie Burns. Had to find something there, dig deep, and he did. Simpson Daniel gain advantage. Another one of those sideways passes from Hamilton. It's gone into Palmer's hands, but that'll just mean the whistle. And it could mean something more, because Martin Fox has gone to the pocket for a yellow card. And Marco Wenzel has been so influential in all that he's done. Well, he won't be influential now for the next 10 minutes.
That's a massive blow for Wasps, because Wenzel has been magnificent today. Line outs, defence, carrying, everything. Here he is stealing from Gloucester's line out a couple of minutes ago, but now he's off. Gloucester have got an extra man, and they must feel this is a chance for them to get their first win. Freddie Burns, he's down as well, and it doesn't look like the ankle that kept him out of the starting line out against Worcester.
Clock is off. Clock is off.
Johnny May's gone, and Mike Tyndall is on. Freddie Burns, as you say, still down. I think that Charlie Sharples is out at the moment with that shoulder injury. Mike Tyndall, a concerned player and backed coach these days. Slightly affected his post-match routine, has to go in the coach's room.
Time on. Shot.
12 Trees or Cook. I know what you mean.
Tee's on. The tee's on. Huh? Oh, it was water. Sorry, guys. The tee wasn't on.
There's 12 Trees for the corner.
That's an interesting call.
It really is, considering that 12 Trees would fancy himself from that range.
Yeah, obviously Burns can't kick. Burns looked up. Joe Simpson's deep in the right-hand pocket, so he decides to change his game plan, and he moves really well. He has to when you've got Ashley Johnson coming at you. But he's a very elusive player. Last 20 minutes, he's played quite beautifully.
It's not as if Gloucester are going for the bonus point. Of course, they'll have it slightly in their mind, but not at the front. Game to be won yet, but this is a drive from Gloucester. Here's the whole of Kingsholm, led by the Shed, will be lapping up. And you can hear their response to it. They didn't get the chance to let it all go on the first weekend, but today it might be a whole lot different. Another penalty.
Number 16, you can't pull players out.
It's Lindsay.
Players out.
I think Freddie Burns wants to go for the corner, and Jim Hamilton might. Still one of those things. The way Burns has been kicking, if he is okay,
Right.
13 points would be a big. Wenzel's out though, and that of course is a huge chink of the line out. It's easy for Hamilton because of it.
The extra man at this stage, bound to be part of the decision-making process here. With Wenzel in the sin bin. Savage finding Vunipola there. There was a meeting of bodies.
The decision-making really should be at this stage. What is our best chance of increasing the lead? Not about who's on or not. If 3 points will help, take it.
David to Wood. He's good at that, Nick Wood. That scramble towards the border. Hamilton picks and delivers to Burns, little chip in behind. And the referee says offside.
Wenger in front.
Well,
in front of the kicker.
I just think that was a bad decision not to go for 3 points there. Freddie Burns may be struggling, but when they've got Rob Cook, who was the outstanding kicker in the championship, that's why they signed him. That is why Gloucester signed Cook, for days like this and for moments like that. 13 points just adds a little bit to the cushion to a team that's nervous, to a team that hasn't won here in the last 4 games.
His first thought for range was Trolltree. He's getting a little bit closer, then that man comes into play. With his very unusual kicking style. We haven't seen it yet in the Premiership. Akapusi Ngera, as predicted, comes on a little bit later than he has been doing. But still time to make an impact. Oh, in goes Savage once more. And Sean Knight also part of the front row. Local boy. There's Johnson for Vunipola. The ruck laid the ball. Haskell did well to react to collect it. Vunipola again. Very exciting talent. Jones. Midfield with Bell. Now it's Varndell. People like Varndell on the field. Wasps are never out of this match. Had a winning position that they squandered against the Harlequins. The Harlequins played brilliantly at Twickenham. Got close against Bath. Close enough for a bonus, but no more. Can they get within range again here? That was Haskell. Simpson, little glance on this side, but there's only Lindsay the hooker. Stephen Jones knew it was coming there. He's had to brace himself. Simpson now puts the foot down. Wade forced to check and tackled, needs support. Holds on to this, he'll be in trouble. Gloucester working for it on the floor, they've won it. Burns didn't have the angle. That was good work from Simpson to try and cut him down. Wade Burns couldn't get it downfield, it falls to Varndell instead. Stephen Jones again takes a hammering for the team.
I can let it come!
Lindsay. James Haskell. Came back from the Highlanders for days like these.
Onside, 12.
To roll the sleeves up at Kingsholm. Vunipola. Held by Morgan, but Vunipola goes on, as he so often does. Stivano. Again, a little glance outside. Players having to operate and make split-second decisions here under all kinds of pressure from the defences. Again, Gloucester coming forward in numbers, but going through on the wrong side. And Simpson with a quick tap, but the whistle's gone again, and Simpson won't like this. He will be furious. Only presume it wasn't from the right spot. Wasn't far off.
It infuriates attacking teams.
They're close calls, those.
Come on, 9, let's come.
So let's see. Penalty, 5 metres in. Oh, he's about a metre behind it.
Well, you can totally understand the Wasps' reaction there.
Just want to look at Billy Twelvetrees defensively. You can see Joe Simpson with his pace and that art threatening Twelvetrees. If Twelvetrees steps in here to this hole, what it means is Christian Wade runs unopposed into that space. He trusts his man, he waits, Wade has no hole. It's been a really mature defensive performance by Twelvetrees. It's always been the question mark about his game. We haven't seen him at his best as a passing player, but he's looked really good defensively. Solid performance at 12.
Stephen Jones has gone off, finished his game. On the receiving end, some big hits. Here comes Nick Robinson, former Gloucester man. This is Tom Bell. He just got one in the first half, and he just falls short here in the second, and it would have put Wasps back in bonus point range. Another change coming is Dan Murphy, plus that's Dave Lewis alongside him as well. The prop forward Murphy, the scrum half Lewis. This is Bell's attempt, this time the wrong side of the crossbar.
Cool, if you combine those two kicks, they probably landed on the crossbar, didn't they? One about a centimetre over, one about a centimetre short. Burns, so quick-witted.
Robson had a fine game, but goes now. Tyndall. Lewis, the new scrum half. Burns again, can hardly go after that. So Martin Thomas, get ready, because Freddie Burns is down again. Here's Daly.
Great line.
And he gets it back. And then Burns gets up and tries to hack it and can't. And the referee goes for the knock-on, which will mean Gloucester put into the scrum. Burns, can he stay on, hobbling around like that?
Well, just thinking if he goes off, 2 years ago, Nicky Robinson would have been coming on for him, and he's against. I don't know, I think he's cramping and he's coming in and out of it. He doesn't seem too disturbed about it. They really do need him, because the last 20 minutes, Freddie Burns has really shaped this game. He's grabbed it by the scruff. Along with the Gloucester scrum, it's been the dominant influence in the second half.
Twelvetrees could go to 10, but as you say, Burns has been doing such a good job. McIntyre also on part of this Wasps front row. Payne off.
I think I mentioned as well for Dan Robson, I think he went really well today. He's going to have a hell of a fight for his place, because next week certain Jimmy Cowan arrives, but Cowan will only improve Robson, and he could do a lot for Freddie Burns as well, because it'll give Burns that added running threat inside him. And boy, Gloucester have a dangerous pair of halfbacks if those two really hit their straps together.
You don't sign someone like Cowan and let him hang around outside the first team for too long. It's learn the cause, mate, and straight into action. Sure, Cowan will be itching to go as well. Penalty, changes made at the scrum for Wasps, but a similar outcome, and Burns tries to stretch and get ready for this, and Twelvetrees will check to see if he's okay.
You got to love a kicker who is coming in and out of cramp on his calf, but he just says, hey, this is my show, I'm in charge, I'll take it.
Sin bin nearly over into the final minute of that, so that will be used up now by Burns as he concentrates for what could be a very telling score in this match. Has he got enough in those cramping legs? Well, he had enough, but he didn't quite have the radar right.
Wasps defended that 10 minutes without Wenzel extremely well. Dropped nothing. You sense Gloucester should have gone for a closer range penalty.
So Wenzel returns, there he is.
Still plenty of time in this game.
And scored a bonus point try for Wasps on the opening day in the 46th minute. Eddie Times now they're scrapping away here, looking for a losing bonus point initially. In the dream of snatching the victory, but that will seem a long way away. At Kingsholm now with 7 minutes left as Lewis finds Ungera. Well, he didn't, because Johnson got in the way. And it was knocked on.
Great defence from the ex-cheater. Ashley Johnson put everything into that, and Akapusi Ungera is not a man given to dropping balls willy-nilly, but he got smashed by the 3 times capped South African. And Johnson knew it, and he lifted his team, and look at the difference there. Wasps have got 50 metres and the ball. That was brilliant defence.
Looks a great signing. Saw his reaction to his team having made the interception or the intervention. Johnson, the man to rally the troops as well. It's exactly what you want to see from your overseas. Robinson to Massey, and then Bell. Still time here was Simpson. They will know also, despite their problems on the road, just how nervous Gloucester will feel at home, given their recent run at Kingsholm last season and right at the start of this against Northampton. Where's that going? Well, it's going to bounce up nicely in the end for Daly to find Johnson.
Sacked by 12 trees.
Gloucester a man down here.
Away!
Another player receiving treatment. It's been a game full of skill, but it's been bruising as well. And there's Wade to Lindsay. Lindsay showing just how bruising there.
Hands away, Red.
And just how committed he is to trying to save this. Robinson gives it to McIntyre, picked up by Vunipola.
Soft hands.
Simpson coming away, looking to show that pace. Oh, Bell didn't quite go with him. It's not the end of the world, because it's still a Wasp penalty for the offside, but Simpson knows that was a chance for a try.
Okay, time off.
There were numbers to the positive on this side for Wasps.
Just got their wires crossed, didn't they, as Simpson meandered across field. I'm sure now Marco Wenzel has to make sure that Wasps, first of all, get a losing bonus point. So this has to be a three-pointer from Nicky Robinson at his former ground. David Duke's played well. Doesn't look good.
He's replaced now by Corey Britton. David Duke at the moment not going anywhere, being helped to his feet, which is a little bit better news, but just the way he's being held, as you say, Stuart, doesn't look particularly good. There's weight going down on both sides, so let's hope that's not a serious run. Young Corey Britton comes on, 20 years of age, England under 20 hooker, squad man, on for his Premiership debut. And Martin Thomas, there's Britton into the front row. Martin Thomas has come on for Freddie Burns, who's nearly made it to the end, not quite. Here's the former Gloucester man, Nick Robinson, for at the moment, for the bonus point. And that's what he's got. For the moment, there's still time for this to change. On comes Will James for Gloucester as well.
Well, my man of the match is going to be coming from someone who at the moment looks like losing. He could yet get a draw, but despite the sin bin, Marco Wenzel has dominated line-outs, restarts, his hands a bit soft, he's carried, he's chased, he's been a magnificent captain. Marco Wenzel is my man of the match.
And Callum Mahoney, the man to go for Will James. That's everybody used by Gloucester. Can those on the field finish the job here? Lewis. And it was Savage. This is 12 trees, slotting in as the standoff, and it's Mike Tyndall.
Come out then, 4.
Just cooling the ambition a little bit here, Gloucester. Aware of the clock, but also aware that one more score absolutely makes sure. These are tense times for a side facing a 5th defeat in a row on this ground. Not this season under Nigel Davis. This would be a 2nd if they were to lose, but with 3 minutes to go and 7 points the difference. The moment it's Wasps thinking about the possibility of a draw, and they will put into the scrum.
They're not out of this game yet. They are not out of this game yet. You go wide and you see Tom Varndell on the left flank. You see Christian Wade on the right. You see Elliot Daly, who delivered a dazzling try, and you cannot write them off. The key is, can the replacements who have come on for Gloucester do the damage in the scrum to make sure that Simpson and Robinson can't unleash them?
Crouch! Touch! Set!
Not from the big win against Irish. It's been a couple of nearlies so far for Wasps this season. It's like being another. Although they would walk away quite happy with a draw here. They've got a penalty.
Well, I think they'd be delighted with the draw. This game reminds me of the match when they lost 27-20 to Bath, and you felt they could have got a draw there. A draw would be a decent result. A bonus point defeat, and they'll just think we didn't quite play well enough. Still plenty of time. Lineouts, they don't tell the full tale about this man's commitment, effort and inspiration.
30-23 against Bath. They got the bonus point that day. They've got a losing bonus point here at the moment, but Nick Robinson against his former club gives it to Wade. They're going for more than that. And they've got a penalty. They've got to keep going for the try now. Will Simpson be allowed to go this time? He is. Simpson. Good tackle comes in from Savage again. Talk about players who've had fine games, and Savage be there right towards the top of the list today. There's Haskell.
And Nick Wood needs a mention as well in scrum and in the loose. He's been excellent.
Come away, 5!
Wade was the only man to the right, so it's Robinson again. That's where they're all lining up. Bit more even now, but Simpson's still going that way, trying to get a bit of width, trying to get it to Varndell. And that's it, I think, as it goes forward. Gloucester have done it.
Well, there's time,
and their supporters know it.
Well, there is time for one more scrum, but having dominated the scrum, having used it as their predominant weapon in the second half, you would be really surprised if they lost it now. Simpson in broken play is a danger, but Gloucester, with Savage to the fore, look as if they've broken a losing run at Kingsholm. They just about deserve it. In the first half, we saw a lot of exciting rugby. In the second half, it's been the scrum, and until he went off, the control of Freddie Burns. But again, in defeat, Wasps are a completely different team to last season. They are going to be nowhere near the bottom this season.
As you say, not a foregone conclusion. Wasps won the last penalty at the scrum, but it has been going Gloucester's way in this department. Lewis was never going to put it down the middle, was he? Good
penalty.
Hustling there from Simpson, and it throws his side a lifeline. They should have closed it out, and they know it.
Ben Morgan should have fallen on that ball. He panicked, and Vudipola's off.
Here he goes, Vudipola. Great work by Simpson, the scrum half.
Let it come!
But he wants the great work here from the forwards initially. Can they get over? No, they can't. Back with Simpson. Here's Robinson. Haskell trying to free the legs out of the challenge. Simpson again. Robinson once more. Varndell. They've got some tremendous try scorers in this team, and they're looking for one last try here in this game to give themselves a chance for the draw. Simpson again to Robinson.
He's added a different threat, hasn't he, on the game line?
Looked full of running since he came on. But how full of Wasps in general here. McIntyre. Good tackling from Gloucester. One more mistake, and it's the Gloucester win. Trying conversion, and we're all level. Here's Daly. Oh, behind Johnson. Stybana goes back. Retrieves. Now he needs help. Johnson needs to get in quickly. Isolated. Gloucester have done it now. No need for a scrum. No need for any more puffs of the cheeks from Nigel Davis. And Gloucester are going to give their supporters what they demand here. Every time the W in the right column and the points to go with it, but it's been a while. And because of that, it will taste all the sweeter
but they didn't make it easy for themselves. It was not great from Ben Morgan, the panic at the end, but in the end, Gloucester's defence held just about firm there. Decent game, some brilliant stuff in the first half, some great generalship from Burns in the second half. Gloucester will be very relieved come final whistle.
So not quite the pace and invention from the backs of the first half, but plenty of grit in that second half battle from both sides. He didn't deserve to be on a losing side today, Ashley Johnson, but they are delighted to be celebrating a victory here again. It's so important for Gloucester's chances. Any side in this league has to do well at home, but for Gloucester and that fortress mentality that they've built at Kingsholm over the years, they've got to grab it back.
It was a sandcastle at the end of last season. It started that way against Northampton when Northampton beat them, but they found their game today, and that was a game they had to win, and they just about got there.
So let's go down to the pitch where Bill has James Simpson-Daniel waiting to speak to us. Bill.
James, just how nervous was those last 2-3 minutes?
Yeah, very. You had this vision in the back of your mind of them getting a try, and you're walking away with another draw, and you know that would have been like a gut-wrenching defeat if that happened. So, you know, thankfully the guys dug in at the very end. You know, we did a few 50-50 errors and very nearly cost us, but you know, it was a good win for us. First game of the season here, we messed up, and it's great to get a win.
How important was it to get a home win, especially after the end of last season?
To get what, sorry? A
home win.
Yeah, very much so. Until we got that first win of the season a few weeks ago, you know, we hadn't won a game, I don't think, until, well, about 6 or 8 months ago. So, very important for us to get that first win at Kingsholm.
Well done, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, James Simpson-Daniel. For all the talk of the young fireworks out there this afternoon, it's an old pro who scored arguably the try of the afternoon, and it's helped Gloucester to end this horrible run of form they've had at home. They are back